Hey guys, so a bit of an unusual video for me in that it's a non-makeup one and it's about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS or EDS, depending on what you call it. It is basically hypermobility syndrome that I have, which is a form of EDS. And EDS, you can get the mildest, which is what I'm lucky enough to have, I suppose. And then you can get a lot more severe types. So you can get another, I think there's another 2 or 3 types of EDS that you can have. Like I said, I'm lucky enough to have the mildest form. The way that it affects me, I have a lot of symptoms that may be related, I have some that are completely unrelated, and I have some that definitely are related. EDS, or hypermobility syndrome, is basically a connective tissue disorder, but it affects the joints and it causes a lot of joint pain. For me, I'll tell you the things that I have that are related, not related, or maybe related. Completely unrelated, I have polycystic ovaries, endometriosis, and high blood pressure and high cholesterol. I don't know if any of those are related. It's never been mentioned that they're related, so I think they're completely unrelated, and I might well do a video on those at some point in the future. I'll maybe do a little mini health series. Definitely related are my arthritis and joint pain. So I have knee pain, I have elbow pain, I have tennis elbow and golfer's elbow. So one's this side and one's that side. So like if I'm in the bath and my elbows touch the sides, it's very sore. If I put my arms like that, it's sore, you know, that kind of thing. And I have pains in my wrists and just the general kind of joint pain. My knee pain is the biggest problem for me, and that's probably the worst, and that's the one I've kind of had an operation on and trying to figure out. Tiredness is related. I'm really, really tired a lot of the time. That's related to Ehlers-Danlos. It's also related to the drugs I take, but it's related to Ehlers-Danlos. And what else? I have an ectopic beat, which may be related. Actually, that's not directly related. That's a maybe related, because you can have heart problems if you've got Ehlers-Danlos. And like I said, I have this ectopic beat that a lot of people can have anyway without having EDS. Potentially related are, I have, and actually the 3 main symptoms I deal with are knee pain, headaches or migraines, and bladder pain. The migraines may be related, but I'm not sure how. I've just got a feeling that they are, you know. And the bladder pain may be related, and somebody did explain to me how that was related, because Ehlers-Danlos is basically looseness in your connective tissue and joints, and it means that your body reacts like an athlete. So my body reacts as if, for example, I'd been running for years. I wish my body looked like that, but it doesn't. But my joints react like that, and the skin of everything internally and outside is loose. And in fact, when I said to my dentist that I had to fill in a form and say that I had EDS, and he went, "Oh, let me see your skin," and he was grabbing my skin like this, you know. He's absolutely bonkers. But with the bladder, it is thought that maybe people with EDS have an irregular shaped bladder because the skin is looser. It means it's not in a perfect shape, and it's maybe like stretched. And therefore, if you say got a pocket of an area that was stretched, it wouldn't empty completely, and they can be prone to infections. I've had bladder infections since I was 11 years old, really serious infections. And in fact, I think the first one I had at 11 years old, my stepmum and my dad at the time thought it was just me starting my monthly cycle, and it wasn't. It was a cystitis infection. Over the years, it hasn't been a huge problem over the years. I was 33 when I got all of these symptoms happen to me. I don't know why at that age, but suddenly at 33, I was limping from the knee pain. The cystitis had caused basically permanent cystitis and permanent bladder nerve damage. And I had these migraines suddenly appearing. It was just bizarre. And I actually ended up leaving the job I was at, and I was somebody that was never off sick or anything, but I left this job and I took a few months off work. I just felt so awful and kind of was having a bit of a breakdown dealing with it all as well. And that's when I got diagnosed. It was the knee pain. I went to see a physio, and they said to me, "Oh, do this." And I'm not sure how far everybody else's goes back, but mine apparently goes further than most. And she said, "Oh, I think you're hypermobile. You'll need to see a rheumatologist." So I did. I went to the doctors, and they sent me to a rheumatologist, and he did a test, which is the Baton scale. And the Baton scale is to see if you are hypermobile, i.e. have Ehlers-Danlos. And I think I got 9 out of 9 on the Baton scale, so I was like the top of the scale. And you get points for, like, you have to put your hands on the floor and see if you can do that. You have to like bend your thumb down, you see how my thumb touches my wrist and things like that, you know. And you had to do this thing with this and your elbow, like my elbows turn inwards, and there was different tests, and he gives you different points for all of this. And I asked him what the treatment was, and that was the funny bit, because he just said to me, well, you can rub capsicum into your joints if you like. And that's basically, capsicum is just peppers. bell peppers in it, and it's got this gel that you can get from the doctor. I think some things have a tiny amount in it, but not the amount you need for joint pain. And you put it on your skin and your skin heats up. It's like deep heat, but 10 times worse, because I actually ended up getting some, and oh my God, basically it burns your skin so that you forget about your joint pain. That was my theory with it, and never again will I use it. Anyway, that's all he told me was the treatment. I then saw an orthopedic surgeon who did say he could operate on my right knee. I had the operation on my right knee, and that made a big deal of difference for me. But there isn't actually any treatment for Ehlers-Danlos. There is treatment for the symptoms. So whatever your symptoms are, you will go to that specialist and they will give you any treatments possible. So I went to the orthopedic surgeon who gave me surgery. I went to the physio who taught me exercises and gave me different kind of tools. And I went to see a urologist about the bladder pain. And out of all of that, I have got drugs, aids, things that I use to help me through kind of daily life. And I've also got experience enough now that I manage my condition. So I'll tell you what works for me. Basically for the bladder pain, I take amitriptyline, which is a drug that I was lucky enough to get when I wasn't working. And I say that because it knocks you out, and I was basically only awake for a few hours a day. And if I was working at the time, I wouldn't have been able to stay on that drug. And I know a few people that have tried it and not been able to stay on it because of that effect. But for me, it worked, and it just made it bearable to go to work. Although saying that, I was still in a lot of pain when I did start the new job, which was in the NHS where I work now. But it made it bearable enough that I could go to work. And now it's just a wonder drug. And if I forget to take it one night, I can feel it immediately. I can't get to sleep, and I'm running to the loo, and it starts to feel agony. If I get a full bladder, it's like having a bladder of acid. It's just awful. And amitriptyline is amazing. So if you get the chance to have that, if you're having any problems with kind of bladder nerve damage or interstitial cystitis, which is really hard to say, anything like that, give it a go, because it does work, and you just need to get through that period of being really tired. I think it lasts about a month. And then it doesn't ever go away completely, because now I go to bed, what is this rogue bit of hair? I go to bed at 9 o'clock every night, which is a disadvantage, but I'm prepared to pay that price because of the amount of pain relief I get from it. The other thing that I do is I don't drink a lot of alcohol, because if I have a lot of alcohol, it causes me a lot of bladder pain, and I have to make sure that I drink constantly throughout the day. So I'm always drinking tea, and I'm always running to the loo. But again, that's something I need to do to not be in pain, so I'm okay with that. For my headaches, I am taking ibuprofen, paracetamol and codeine daily, all prescribed. I would prefer not to be taking the codeine, I prefer not to be taking the paracetamol or the ibuprofen, but they are the only things that stop my headaches. People might wonder if I've got rebound headaches. I do not. I have tested that out by going 3 weeks without any painkillers, and it was the worst 3 weeks ever. And I still had the headaches at the end. I went through that with the doctor, and it was confirmed that it's not rebound headaches, and these painkillers work for me. So I take them every day. I would prefer not to, like I say, but I got to a point in my life where I'm going to stop being that person that's like, oh, I don't want to take drugs, because I have a happier life with them and I'm not in pain. And when I take them, I'm like, oh, this is what it's like to not be in pain and to just enjoy life. So I take them, and I would love to not, and I am going to try and taper them off at some point, but for now it's just not the right time for me. Unfortunately, it means that the ibuprofen makes my reflux worse. I've got reflux disease as well, which could be related to the Ehlers-Danlos, but for that I take lansoprazole. So I'm kind of on a lot of drugs. I'm on other stuff. I'm on metformin for the polycystic ovary as well, but I might do another video about those, as I said. And I also have some kind of physical aids, and I've got them here actually. I've got my spiky balls. These are, you just put them under your shoulder blades and kind of roll your shoulders, and that just takes away all the tension in your muscles, and that helps to not cause pain. And I also use my foam roller for the same kind of thing. And I got both of these off of Amazon. I just put this under my back and kind of roll on it. And I'm going to do that later because my back's actually really sore sitting here. And the other thing, like I said, is management. And by management, I mean that, oh no, there's one other thing that is just like a miracle to me, and that's this. It's my physio tape. If you have any kind of joint pain, please look up kinesio tape. I have done a whole video on it actually called, I think it's called kinesio tape or physio tape. I'll try and stick it below. But have a look at kinesio tape. You can buy these in Boots in the single packets. They're £7. So even if you want to try it that way, I bought this whole roll. It was actually a lot thicker than this for £30 from eBay. And this is just a miracle to me. If I put this on my knees, I can walk for a couple of hours I can't do that any other way. I get a little bit longer if I put heat pads on. I can walk for a little bit longer, but with this, it's just, this got me through my wedding day, and I was able to stand for my vows and dance in the evening, etc. Brilliant stuff. It's also worked for my plantar fasciitis as well. I've had it on my foot and my knee when I was going out a couple of weeks ago, and I was in a lot of pain. I was like strapping myself up. So that's what I mean by management. I don't, like, if I've got a pile of ironing and I stood and did it for hours, I would be in pain. So I have to make sure that I do my ironing every day. If I'm going to be going uptown and spending time shopping, I need to strap my knees up, make sure I've got the proper shoes on, you know, top up on my painkillers, make sure I've got a background of painkillers and I've taken the full lot of anti-inflammatories. That's what I mean by management. With the bladder thing, I need to drink all day and make sure that there is the opportunity for me to drink a lot of liquid. I don't drink too much alcohol because that irritates the bladder. So that's what I mean by management. I hope that makes sense. Then there's the kind of emotional side, I guess, in that most of the time I'm okay with it, but sometimes I get really upset. And actually I did already film this video, but I got really upset and I thought I don't want to be crying on screen because I really want it to be a positive video. I don't want it to be a negative kind of depressing video, because that's not me most of the time. Most of the time I deal with it well. I think I deal with it well, not just because of my personality. Some of it is that, of course, but I think it's because I've got these things at my disposal and there are things you can do. And that's the message I really want to get out, that you don't have to just sit and suffer in pain. You know, I've got horrendous knee pain, and if I didn't take the drugs and I didn't do my exercises and I didn't use the taping or the heat pads or anything like that, I'd be in agony all the time and I would just not be working and I would be lying at home and saying, you know, I can't go anywhere or do anything. I'm not saying that there aren't people that is the case and there's nothing they can do, because that does happen to me. Sometimes I get to a stage where I can't get off the sofa because I'm in so much pain. But generally that is because I've overdone it and I've not managed my condition, and I've, you know, done it 2 hours worth of ironing, or I've been running around cleaning the house and I've not put my trainers on with my supports in, because even when I'm in the house I need to wear my orthotics. And if I haven't done that and given kind of almost given the disease the respect that it needs, then I end up in a lot of pain. So anyway, yeah, like I said, most of the time I'm strong. I occasionally have a breakdown, one of which was last week, and I met my friend for lunch, and bless her, she was feeling upset because I was upset, which was lovely, but I don't want to make anybody upset, you know. And I think it's just that she hasn't seen me have those breakdowns before. Like, I tell her in emails and stuff, you know, we email all the time and I see her once a month, but she'd never actually seen me upset. But every, I don't know, maybe every 3 months or so, I just get really, really down about it. And it's normally when there's either a side effect from one of the drugs, because the drugs that I'm on, you know, I'm on other drugs for other conditions as well, can have some horrendous side effects, or it's when something new happens or the pain gets worse. And I think what happened is I got the plantar fasciitis, which is pain in your foot basically, and I just was feeling like more pain, you know, like I've got pains in my elbows. I can't, you know, when I'm sitting in the bath, I can't put my elbows on the side, I can't put my arms like it felt like really another thing, like I can't, there's nothing I can do. I felt like every single part of my life was affected by it. And when that happens, I just kind of wallow in it for a couple of days, to be honest. And, you know, I was sitting in tears with my friend and just saying like, that sometimes it's really hard to get up in the morning, and it's hard and it's painful to live. And I think she was worried, and I'm in no way and never am suicidal whatsoever. But it wasn't a lie. Sometimes it's hard to live with pain. It's very, very hard. And it's hard to get up and just be strong about it and get on with the day and ignore the pain, or do, you know, all of it. Sometimes I think, God, I wish I didn't have to like count out my drugs in all these little pots and make sure I've always got them on me and never go anywhere without them. Or sometimes it's embarrassing as well, because especially at work, like sometimes, you know, there's a crowd of us going somewhere and they'll all head off up the stairs and I can't go upstairs because that really hurts my knees, and I'm just like, I'll see you guys up there, and I have to get in the lift. And it's embarrassing, you know, and it kind of makes me feel like the odd one out. But most of the time I'm okay with it, and I just have to get on with it and think, you know what, it could be way, way worse, especially in the industry I work in, because, you know, we're dealing with people with cancer. We all know somebody that's died of cancer. You know, I had a brother that died of cancer. I had a friend a couple of years ago that died of cancer. Like it's everywhere, and I think it could be worse. So most of the time I'm pretty strong about it. And I think that's just because I have that little wallow. And I think if you allow yourself that, because actually what my friend said to me was that I'm too hard on myself. She was like you deal with things really well, so you're too hard on yourself. You need to give yourself a break and relax a little bit and not try to do everything. And you know, I've got to find that point between not letting this disease beat me and just getting on with life and doing too much. And I'm still trying to find that balance, and most of the time I'm okay, but I sometimes overdo it and then I'm in pain and I get kind of like grumpy, like, well, why can't I just do the same things as everybody else? You know, all I want to do is do my housework and the everyday things. But like I said, it could be much worse. That's a little bit of a ramble. I apologise for that. But my hope for this video, like I said, I had taped it and got a bit upset, and I didn't want to be upset on screen, not because I'm embarrassed, I'm not, but because when I talk about it, it does get me upset. And you know, when you see it kind of written down and I'm sitting going, and I've got this wrong and this wrong and this wrong, it does upset me. But I don't want people to watch something that is negative. I want the takeaway message to be that you don't have to just accept this, that there are things you can do. So I hope that was maybe useful. I thought that this would be a good video to do, because I thought, for me, when I hear people mentioning their health, I'm really interested, and just out of curiosity, I think it's nice to know these things. And I know that I sometimes mention, like, oh my, you know, I went uptown but my joints, or when I'm doing an outfit of the day, I have to talk about like my shoes and why I've chosen, you know, a pair of shoes. And I think there might be some people that want to see the whole picture. So there's the opportunity here for people to see pretty much the whole picture of why I'm saying about my shoes and my orthotics and all of that kind of thing. And also I think it's more of a recognised disease nowadays, or condition, not disease. And so there might be some young girls, because it's mostly girls, although there is guys as well, there might be some young people that have been diagnosed with it, and I would like them to see that there are solutions and there are things you can do. And I still work and I still go out with my friends and I still do everything I can. As far as kind of prognosis and the future goes, I'm not sure. It doesn't look great, but I think as long as I can manage it, I will be as good as I am now, if you know what I mean. So I might need to manage it better. So I might need to do less and less and do little bits of ironing, and I might need to, you know, ask my husband to help me with the ironing and things like that. But yeah, so I hope that answered some questions for you. I hope that was maybe a little bit interesting for you and gave you some ideas of pain relief. There's other things that I use that I didn't mention here. I use like Tiger Balm on my knees, on my elbows, and on my neck. I use Voltarol is really good. It's an anti-inflammatory cream. I use peppermint oil for my migraines. I kind of put it all over my head. What else? I think that's pretty much it. I've got a little thing that I keep all my drugs in, and then I've got like little pots of all my painkillers. And people at work know me as kind of the pharmacist, even though I'm not, but because they can come to me and go, have you got, and I'm like, yeah, of course, you know, I've got indigestion tablets, I've got painkillers, I've got everything in my drawer. So if you've got any questions at all, then please feel free to stick them in the comments below. But if it's something that is more personal, you don't want to put it publicly, then you can send me a message. You just click on the about button and click send message, and that will email me, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have at all. So thank you very much for listening and bearing with me kind of rambling, and I will see you again very soon.